What if I told you that the biggest marketing plays were not happening on your TV, but they were happening on your phone? Well, the 2025 Super Bowl just wrapped up, and they proved that social media, AI, and influencer marketing are now the real MVPs of advertising. And if you're a business owner, this shift is something that you need to be paying attention to because these same strategies, they can work for you too. Welcome to this week's Rocky Mountain Marketing Quickcast. This is your go-to source for actionable advice and the latest news in social media and digital marketing. Every Thursday in just 8 to 12 minutes, I'm going to be delivering quick, impactful tips to help you stay ahead in the fast-paced digital landscape. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. The Super Bowl just wrapped up, and whether you're a Chiefs fan or an Eagles fan or maybe a Kendrick Lamar fan, I'm sure you are tuning in to check out the game in some regards. And I think that one thing we can all say is that one of the best parts of watching the Super Bowl is the ads. And Super Bowl marketing is not what it used to be. It's not just about a single TV commercial. Brands that won this year, they didn't just buy ads, they built a multi-platform, full-scale campaign to go with that very expensive Super Bowl spot. And that's what I'm going to be breaking down in today's episode, because guess what? You might be saying, well, Katie, I don't have the same budget as Budweiser or anything like that. You don't need to. These strategies that these big businesses did for the Super Bowl, they can work for you and your small business as well. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. So, what can we learn about what we saw in this year's Super Bowl marketing ads? Well, let's start with the very first one. One of the biggest takeaways that I had was that Super Bowl marketing is not just a one spot ad anymore. I remember growing up and watching for the latest Budweiser commercial, with the frogs. Yes, and it shows how old I am, but the Budweiser commercials, like the lead up to all of these commercials that we would see for the very first time during the Super Bowl was huge. But now brands, they're starting to build the buzz before their ad even comes out. So they're using social media and a variety of pre-ads to get us excited about the ad that they're going to show during the Super Bowl. So you might say, okay, again, I'm not buying any Super Bowl ads here, Katie. What does that mean for me? Well, if you're an entrepreneur, small to medium-sized business owner, this is a wake-up call. So if you're only showing up when you're launching something big, you're already behind. So whether you're launching a book, maybe you're launching your brand new podcast, whatever it is, if you're just showing up and saying, hey, here it is, you're already behind. So instead of dumping everything that you have into one big promo push, ask yourself, are you consistently creating content that is building awareness before a launch? Are you using your network? So people in your demographic, people that you're connected to on social media that have a similar audience as you. How can you use short form video and use some of that as behind the scenes to keep your brand top of mind? So let's see how some of these brands did it during the big game. So the very first one is Poppi. So Poppi is a prebiotic soda brand, and they went all in this year. So they combined influencer marketing with PR stunts. So what they did was they sent some vending machines to really big content creators, and it worked. Kind of. So they partnered with some big influencers that have large engagement rates. But this is where things got messy. Social media users called out Poppi for spending money on influencers instead of rewarding loyal customers. And their direct competitor, Olipop, which is another prebiotic soda, they jumped in with a pretty savage clapback. They said, we don't have vending machines, but who wants a jersey? So I think the lesson here for business owners, influence without audience connection can definitely backfire. So if you're connecting with influencers, make sure that it aligns with your brand first and it doesn't alienate your core customers. This is why I love using my network as influencers instead of just doing direct influencer marketing. I have a number of people that are in my network that have a similar audience, a similar demographic. And if you can partner with those people and share an audience, it makes it feel a lot more authentic. So I also want to talk about nostalgia. Man, I love me some good 90s neon and, fanny packs. I am all in for it. And nostalgia, it killed it this year for the big game. So Carl's Jr. actually crushed their campaign by tapping into the nostalgia, and they brought back their famous Paris Hilton burger commercial from the 2000s. But only this time they swapped Paris for an influencer, and they launched the Hangover burger. So the thing that they did with this is they had a 47% engagement rate, which is the highest of any brand influencer collab this season. But the thing that I like best is the smart call to action. Their customers that watched the commercial, their customers got a free burger on Monday after the Super Bowl if they downloaded the Carl's Jr. app. So you might be saying again, Katie, I'm not planning on spending any money on TV commercials. I want you to focus in on the two things that worked, the takeaways. So nostalgia marketing, it works. Bringing back an old trend, posting past content or something sentimental that can really reignite interest and connect with your audience on that nostalgia level. And then number two, a direct call to action, like a freebie or a special offer. That increases your conversions. If you're launching a new product, you have an event going or you have a new offer coming out, how can you get people to emotionally be invested in you and your offer before you even sell to them?
And now for just a quick break. You've heard me talk about some of my favorite social media tools on the show, and one of them is a tool called Metricool. Metricool allows you to plan, analyze, and grow your digital presence all in one place. From websites to LinkedIn to YouTube, you can track everything that you're doing online and see just what's working and what isn't. Check out Metricool today at katiebrinkley.live/cool.
Just a note, if you use the links I provide, I may receive compensation.
Another thing that I noticed during the big game was AI. Man, it was everywhere. Meta with the glasses. Got to be honest, I bought some. It looked cool. I've been kind of poo-pooing all over it for a while. My best friend has some, and she wears them, and she says they're great. But they got me during their commercial this year. So, but that's not what I want to talk about here. The AI wasn't just a part of the Super Bowl. It was a dominant theme. We've seen crypto spend a lot of money on past Super Bowl ads. Not a single crypto commercial this year. It was all filled with AI. So, and this is why you should care. AI marketing is not just a futuristic concept. Okay, I want you to all to realize that. It's not just a futuristic concept. It is happening right now. And brands are using it to create personalized, very efficient marketing strategies. I keep thinking about that movie with Tom Cruise, Minority Report, how, he's walking through the subway and the ads see his retinas and they give him a specific ad tailored to him. And folks, we're getting close to that now. And marketing is changing very, very fast because of AI. And so I want you to pay attention to some of the different AI ads that we saw during the big game that I think that really did a good job of the way that they positioned themselves in front of an audience that maybe was a little resistant to them. So if you're afraid, like, I don't know how my audience is going to feel if I promote this product, think about how these brands did it during the biggest game of the year, and they're still getting pushback from a lot of the world AI is. So let's talk about how OpenAI, which is the owner of the parent company of ChatGPT, their commercial was all about making AI relatable. So OpenAI had their very first commercial during the big game, and instead of making ChatGPT feel like a complex tool, that you needed to have a ton of experience with and learn how to use and prompt experience. They made it seem very accessible. So they used emotionally driven storytelling. So showing AI as a helpful companion rather than just software. So by talking to the AI and having it talk back to you, they also made it seem relatable. So they positioned AI in relatable everyday scenarios. So they took AI out of just being in the tech world and into real life situations. So what does this mean for you as an entrepreneur? Well, how can you make your product seem like it is not a burden or seem like it's hard to understand? It's by bringing in the storytelling, and it's by bringing in the human aspect. And storytelling, I love the book Story Brand by Donald Miller. If you haven't ever read it or listened to it, check it out. It really is about positioning your client, your customer as the hero, and how can you create content specifically for them that helps solve their problems. So I think that what OpenAI did is they did a lot of the story brand of making it seem relatable, seem easy, and anyone could use their product. And then I already mentioned Meta with the glasses. They approached it as a lifestyle, not just the product. Said they got me, ordered a pair. So maybe next time on the episode here, you'll see me wearing my new Meta Ray-Bans. But Meta took a different approach. They used star power, humor, and made it seem more of a lifestyle brand. So they brought in Chris Pratt, Chris Hemsworth, and Kris Jenner. Really, I did not see her coming in here, but they used those three Chris's to help promote their AI-powered smart glasses. And instead of selling tech, they sold it as an experience. So making it fun and aspirational and very meme-worthy. So the biggest business takeaway here is if you're selling a product or a service, focus on how it fits into your audience's lifestyle. And show, don't tell. Instead of just listing out the features of it does this, this, and this, just demonstrate how it improves your customer's life, the pain point that you're solving. All right, so the 2025 Super Bowl gave us a great playbook for us entrepreneurs to use in 2025. So I think that what worked and what didn't, you should definitely take note of for this year with your marketing efforts, with your social media strategy. I'm not saying you got to go out and spend millions of dollars on television ads, but the things that worked and the things that didn't, you should be paying attention to. So the very first thing that I think that everyone should be doing anytime that you have a launch or a new offer is start early, extend the hype. Don't just show up on launch day and say, hey, buy from me. Create that pre-launch buzz and continue after you've launched. How can you keep it top of mind so that people want to sign up the next time around? Like, create that FOMO. And then use your network wisely. Might not all have the budget for influencer marketing, but your network can be a great influence on your demographic and on your ideal audience. So partner with those people who genuinely align with your brand and you have a similar audience and can help your audience resonate with what it is that you offer, maybe in a different light. Number 3, tap into nostalgia. Find the things that everyone loves thinking about, what the good old days. So bring back a classic trend or an older experience from the past that can help spark excitement and can really bring in that emotional connection. And then number 4, humanize your marketing. Whether you're using AI or not, your marketing should always focus on people, not just features. EM dashes, the hyphens. Nobody writes like that except for copywriters and reference books. Don't just copy and paste stuff from AI. Keep the human in your brand and find ways that you can still connect with your audience while using AI as that tool. And if you have a product that maybe some people are giving a little bit of pushback on, find the ways to make it seem like it's more accessible and usable for everybody. All right, so as we wrap up today's episode, the brands that won this year's Commercials weren't just the brands with the biggest budgets. Well, I feel like anybody that advertises during the Super Bowl has a big budget, but they're not the ones that just had the big budgets. They were the ones that built the real connections. That is exactly what you should be doing. Social media is a great way to build connection with your ideal clients, with your customers, and prove that you're an authentic human being behind your business. And that's what you should be doing every time that you show up in your marketing, whether it's on social or whether it's on a podcast appearance. Think of yourself like you're a Super Bowl or a big game brand. Go beyond just that single post. Go beyond the single push and promotion. Create that strategy that keep them engaged before the launch, during the launch, and after the launch. And I promise you, you are going to see a huge bump in your own marketing plans.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.